I used to hate my dad. More so, feared him. And I hate to say that today, but it's true. He was rarely around, only when things needed to get done around the house. And he was always angry. At least that's how I saw it as a child. It wasn't until I left home that I realized that my dad did not exist to make my life hell, but that he suffered to make sure our lives were the closest thing to heaven he could make them out to be. He wasn't around much because he was always working. He was always angry because he could never sleep. We always had something to do around the house because he couldn't afford to pay somebody else to do it. I've come to rationalize and justify my dad's parenting methods, but my dad is not perfect. Your dad is not perfect. No parent is perfect because you learn to become one as your children are learning to become children, to become teenagers, and the idealized adult with true agency, just as you are, continuing to learn how to become one's full potential. So it is not dad's job to be the all-powerful puppet master. It is his job to be the best he can be. Being a dad is more than just going to work. It's more than just paying a check, more than just impregnating a chick. What is the purpose of our lives as men? Animalistically, is to survive and procreate. But if we are more than just procreating people, living in a world with other people, are we to live completely for ourselves then? To contribute nothing to the world, art, ideas, to purely consume or pursue pure hedonistic pleasure? I believe it is a man's purpose to create something, to contribute something to the world. What then is more contributive than giving the world another good person? Now, don't think I'm insinuating. I don't think being a parent is a requirement for a good life. Neither get hung up on the word good here. In every person's life, is there not a stage in childhood at which they are innocent, pure, and uncorrupt? I've mentioned how the incarcerated are the most traumatized. Most of them don't even know their fathers, and if they did, they made their lives hell. And their dads made their lives hell, going back generations. It is a dad's duty to do everything in his control not to traumatize his kids, to break generational curses, to raise the change he wants to see in the world. What is the purpose of life? To me, it is human flourishing. It is to live up to your potential as a human being. Virtue, eudaimonia. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent, or the wasted gift of life. Life is a gift, contrary to the anti-natalist, that you didn't ask for. And even if one's life was complete suffering from beginning to end, at least there was a chance to prevail. Like virtue, parenthood is something you have to learn, and it is observable through exemplars. You gotta be like Lorenzo in BRONX Tale. Firm, fair, hardworking, family first, and uncompromising in his values. But you also gotta be like Sonny in BRONX Tale. Influential, fun to be around, and wanting your kids to get more out of life than you have in yours. Sonny would say that it is better to be feared than loved, that fear lasts longer than love. But Lorenzo showed his love not through fear, but by being the example he wanted C to be. And symbolically, in the end, you see that love actually lasts longer than fear. Like C, it's something I didn't understand until I got older. Always felt a connection to this movie. My dad being from the Bronx, he is the archetypical father figure that is exemplified in Lorenzo. Lorenzo would say the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. But beyond superficial skills, the saddest thing in life is wasting one's full potential as a human being, the gift of life. My dad would say that everything is a sacrifice. He had to drop out of high school at 17 when he became a father to work. He was never an intellectual, but I've always seen my dad as wise, prevailing and flourishing by obtaining experience through life. And there isn't anyone else whose advice lands on me like my dad's. My dad lost his first wife at 23 years old to cancer. He lost his mother the year I was born. He lost his son 20 years later to gang violence in Puerto Rico. Yet he says that God has given him everything he's ever asked for, and that God, like any father, will have to punish his children sometimes. Dads are known for being the disciplinarian. They're better suited for it. My dad definitely was. I was no stranger to his belt, but I'm partly grateful for it. Made boot camp a lot easier. I think about disciplining, or perhaps the entire discipline of fatherhood, like the way we approach the ethics of the death penalty. If we are to see inflicting pain as the ultimate punishment to a child, then is resulting to the extreme the greatest method for corrective action? The deontological or duty-driven approach would say that retribution is permissible. But if even one person can be killed, or one child be beaten for something they didn't do, then it's always wrong. But like most people when it comes to Kantian ethics, it's a little extreme. What about the consequentialist or utilitarian? How do you know that killing somebody will produce a better outcome in society, or even deal the justice the perpetrator deserves? How do you know your kids will learn to listen, behave, or manage conflict when they get the belt every time they get out of line? Of course, you want to whoop their ass when they etch the word zoo and draw little animals on the family's minivan with a rock. But patience is a virtue. Temperance is a virtue. Benevolence is a virtue. Fortitude and fairness are virtues that demonstrate and foster character in both the parent and the child. You can't be the gentle, weak softy that gets walked all over. And you can't come down with the belt as fast as Daddy Tang in every infraction. A father must be balanced. A virtue is always found between two extremes. In 2005, the death penalty against juveniles was abolished in a Supreme Court ruling as a violation of the Eighth Amendment. Temperance, justice, and patience is given to even the worst of the worst juvenile offenders. But there is some value in exercising deontological or rule-based frameworks when it comes to parenting. You need to establish rules of the house and set boundaries that they should never cross. And in every decision you make as a parent, it is weighing the potential consequences for the best outcome of your child's life. But unless you outlive your children, you won't ever completely observe the person they turn out to be. Aristotle says, virtuous actions will naturally flow from a virtuous character. So we must cultivate character in ourselves and our children, so that we will lie in our deathbed or however you go, knowing you did your best and truly be able to rest in peace. Becoming a dad is not receiving the death sentence. It's quite the opposite. You're giving life. In fatherhood, I view my life as beginning again. I get to relive the childhood experience through my children. Childhood is the once-in-a-lifetime experience that will have a lasting effect on the person that children turn out to be. If you couldn't thank your father for anything, at least seize on the gift of life, the opportunity to prevail and amount to your potential as a human being. I am my father's son, as he is his. And if you go all the way back, all the generations, most of the sons and daughters of this world believes the world was also created by a father, with loving, punishing, mysterious, and ever complex parenting methods that maybe we'll understand when we get old.